Hello guys, Zueljin here, and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft Infinity server. Look how fast I say hello with this haste sigil on. Anyway, how you guys doing today? Oh, that's interesting. Hello, glitch. What? This game, man, I swear. What is up with that? It's like, it just x-rays everything. At any rate, guys, I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm getting pretty disorganized. Like, my setup is becoming just a mess. But the good news is, I have finished the exterior of the guild. Yeah, it's finally done. So, look at this guy with the pig on his head. You look ridiculous, dude. Do you know that? No, don't talk about my hat. I know I look ridiculous. I just got goggles on. But yeah, the guild is complete. Now, I thought about doing a little bit more variation on the sides, and when I did a different type of variation, it didn't look like it fit. What I wanted to do was go in a third layer and actually have kind of like the spruce, but the planks behind where the windows would sit, and then I would do fence in front to kind of look like boarded up windows. And it really didn't do what I wanted it to do, and I really did like this pattern. Another thing that I thought about is that this pattern will probably be split at one point, so it's not going to be permanent, because on the inside I actually want to make a second floor. I might actually go third floors, but I doubt it. With the middle the way it is, it's probably going to be better that I just go second floor. And yeah, also I've been thinking a little bit about putting the altar inside, and my final take on that is no, because I'll explain to you how this is going to go. So eventually I'm going to have applied energistics, and it's not going to be a huge setup at all by any means. It's going to be mostly storage, and it's going to be exported to storage buses for the bulk of everything when I'm going to be doing quarrying and all that other stuff. So this entire section right here is pretty much going to be devoted to Thaumcraft and decor. I know it's kind of weird to say that, but Thaumcraft takes up a lot of room, actually. It really does. I want to have a little alchemy area. I'm going to have a little, essentially, a storage area, and that's going to be like the primary thing. That's going to be like the highlight. And then I'll either have some arcane levitators or some elevators in the corner to get to the second level. And here I'll have some other stuff, like some of my own stuff that I have. Maybe a little runic book library, not a runic book library, a Miscraft book library to teleport to other places and make it look kind of cool and guildish. So when that happens, this entire section here, like the floor, is probably going to line up with the windows at some point. So I'll have to redesign how the windows are. But I'm not to that point yet. I'm still in the planning stages, and the next thing I have to do is really get the floor prepared. Plus, the arcane, I guess you could say the arcane infusion area. Big Al in the comments has been telling me that I need to use mob heads to stabilize the ritual process, and it has to be in a reverse style pyramid that goes underneath it. So a portion of this floor is going to have to be taken out as well, which isn't a problem. I can actually do that pretty quick, but the planning that's involved with it, I'm not too sure. I might actually leave some room to expand and go further down. And I eventually, like I said, I thought about putting the blood altar back here, but I think I'm going to reconsider, because first I would have to punch holes in my roof for the beacons to go through when I went to tier 5. Second of all, it's just too darn big. Like, it is really, really big. So in the back here, I could easily do the blood altar here. That would take it away from the village. That way I can do some enhanced villager trading stuff that I thought about doing in the future. And it would just give me a little room. So there's no reason that, well, I can't just spread out over here a little bit, you know. Make the primary good stuff for Thaumcraft and my storage where I go to retreat for items and stuff like that into my guild. And the rest of it I can just experiment in this wide open area and do some cool stuff with villagers and keep it aesthetic. Another thing I need to do before I actually do that is I need to get quite a few of the magnum torches in place, because zombies, I have seen zombies track. There's one villager left, like I showed y'all, in this house right here, okay? He still hasn't been, well, I would say he hasn't been touched, but now I don't see him for some reason. Wait. Here he is, and here. That's where he's at. Yep, he's in there. Now, once he's out of there, he can get away. You know what I mean? So I've kept him trapped in here for the longest time. But I've seen zombies track him from over here. Like, that's a ridiculous distance for them. You know, I'll just see him aimlessly walk in one direction. It doesn't look like, you know, it almost looks like they were drawn to something. And that's how I realized I still had a villager left, because they huddled around him and had a little brains party right here. Or a potential brains party. But anyway, there's stuff that I need to do today, and a lot of it's going to be boring. Most of it's going to be off camera, guys. I think I'm just going to stream this. Most of what I'd like to do is get my storage area moved over here. I'm going to get a lot of jars built. I'm going to get that floor built. I still don't know what pattern I want to use yet, but I think I'm going to do most of that on stream. Just to get that out of the way. If those of you who do not watch me stream, y'all go ahead and go to twitch.tv/Zueljin, and you can follow me there, and you can select to where you get updated when I do stream. That way, if you guys are interested in watching stuff like this, then all means, you know, by all means, go ahead. We have a lot of fun, and we usually get a bunch of stuff accomplished. Well, usually. Sometimes we get lost and stuff. But at any rate, it's always a good time, so it'd be cool to see you out there. And I'm going to get started with that, guys, and I'll bring you back at the next segment of the video after the stream is done. Alright, guys, so I did the live stream, and I got quite a bit accomplished. Not nearly as much as I thought I would. Had a couple of technical difficulties, you could say, but all in all, I had a great time, and thank you guys ever so much, everyone that came out. It was really awesome. So I moved the blood altar, and I did a little bit of renovations to the inside of the guild house, and namely a floor. Now, I didn't do this on stream. I actually did it afterwards, and I needed to light it up, as you can see, because the creepers are still coming. But I looked up floor patterns because I couldn't really decide what to do. I used a bunch of different kind of blocks. Like, I was using all kind of void stone and chisel stuff, and really what it came down to is I wanted something that kind of matched the rest of the build, and I wanted a sophisticated pattern. So when I googled floor patterns, I saw this, and this was kind of like a basket weave pattern. So I did a variation of it, and I think it came out really, really cool. Like, this is an awesome floor pattern. Anyway, let's go out here, and back here is where I set up the blood altar. Now, this was kind of a little idea that I had after the stream, which was, this is cursed earth, but the cursed earth is actually on carpenter's blocks. If you look at my Walia, it'll show you, or Walio, whatever you call it. Basically, if you apply a texture to a carpenter block, it keeps some of the properties, but not all of them, and it does not spawn mobs like this. So it can actually take planting of flowers. So I put the flowers. At first, I had my fallen canade up here without the flowers, and you needed mana generation to make it work. So I added the bench and the hopper and the mana pool here, and I put the spreaders up on top here, and basically they just point at all different directions. I don't have my wand on the forest owner, I'd show you, but what ends up happening is the this side, or this corner, and this corner both pull and push into this mana pool. So that feeds my fallen canade until we can get it online. And as you can see, I have, let me show you, I have quite a bit of LP saved up, and underneath here I have a ritual of well, it's called the Well of Suffering. It's a ritual that takes mobs and kills them and takes their life essence and gives it to the altar. So, kind of a crazy thing. I actually had all of this set up prior on the stream, but I didn't have this set up. This is a vacuum chest hooked to a transfer node and a trash can so that I can void the drops as it goes. And I don't have any speed upgrades or anything in here, but it really doesn't take a whole lot. The mobs aren't incredibly fast, but I do want to apply a couple of speed upgrades just so that it never gets clogged up. And basically what this is going to do is I'm going to apply cursed earth at the bottom here, and everywhere down here is going to be cursed earth, meaning that mobs are just going to spawn like crazy. When the mobs spawn, the ritual is going to kill them and take their essence and add it to the altar. So instead of sacrificing my own life, I'll be sacrificing the mob's life. Now, I also have a chunk loader down here right at the top, and the runes, I'm going to have to substitute a lot of runes for what they call sacrifice runes. These are runes of self-sacrifice. But sacrifice work a little bit differently. Sacrifice does the same thing that self-sacrifice does, except it does things that are being killed instead of you, which is, it makes it much more effective, therefore getting much more LP into my network so I can do cooler things with it. And that's kind of what I'm going to be going for. So everything is set in place. All I have to do is kind of set that bottom port off, and we'll go from there. Now, last time it ended up pretty bad. I ended up dying, and Hypno came to my rescue, so big shout out to Hypno for helping me out. But it is very, very dangerous once it's set into motion. So I was currently set up for tier 6, and I think some of the measurements are off, but for the most part, this is tier 4. So we're ready to upgrade to tier 5, but I don't think we're going to have time to do this. I tried chiseling these runes actually too, and they don't work chiseled. They don't have the proper function, so that's kind of an oversight. But altogether, we should be good to go. I have my activation crystal on me, and we'll get that in motion. I should have plenty of LP. So let's see here. I have 81,000 LP, and to activate the ritual it takes 50,000. So let me get these speed upgrades online, then we'll activate the ritual and see what's going on. Alright you guys, so I got my speed upgrades installed, and I'll flip this puppy around. One of the reasons I did that, and pardon the particle effects, I'll explain that in a moment. One of the reasons I did that is I wanted to install drawbridges. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, drawbridges are these cool little devices that if you apply redstone signal to them, they could push out blocks, sort of like a drawbridge, so it's going to extend the cursed earth out. One of the reasons I did this is so I can turn the machine off. Like, it's the hardest thing in the world to salvage anything if something goes wrong, and basically you have to come down here in full armor and destroy the cursed earth, or let light in, and that destroys the ritual. If a creeper blows up at any point within the time, it can damage the ritual, which will have a negative effect on LP, and if I have enough drain, it can really do some some permanent damage. So I'm not going to go through all that. The drawbridges, for a little bit of extra effort, it really goes a long way, and the recipes are pretty straightforward. You just get some aluminum brass ingots and some bronze ingots from Tinker's Construct. You also make a blank cast, these dispensers in redstone, and you power them with redstone. Right back here, I have a little setup where I took the wireless receiver. Remember the little wireless setup that I had for the first spawner up there with the little cage with the spider spawner? That's the wireless setup that I have here, and it's basically hooked up to all of these dispensers, or all of these drawbridges I should say, and I have the wireless receiver hooked up to the transmitter, which is being powered by a lever. So if I flip this lever on, it pushes out all of the cursed earth, and if I flip it off, it pushes it all back in, or it pulls it all back in. So the only thing that I have to do here is I'm going to install this spawner that I had from last time. That way, if I install it, like, let's say here, what's going to happen is it'll auto spawn as soon as the cursed earth goes underneath it. It'll continue to spawn. Now, the radius that I have set up here is actually perfect, and you know what? I don't have the hat. Let's go down and get this hat. A frog hat. As you can see, they're spawning a little bit now because it's still kind of dark in there. But when I apply this redstone current and all the cursed earth comes out here, that spider spawner will never turn off whether I'm here or not. And the whole area is chunk loaded right here. So, and I'll put all this cobble in here because it actually blocks the light. So we're pretty much ready to go here. If I get my, what's it called? My weak activation crystal. Here we go. And I get my divination sigil to make sure I have 50,000 LP in my system. Yep, I have 98,093. So we'll fire this puppy up, and it starts, and it's going to start hurting the mobs. And as you can see, as I right click, 48,333, 48,381, 48,429, 48,525, it generates LP passively. Now watch this. We're going to go ahead, now that they're all dead, we're going to go ahead and fire this puppy up and have it push out all the way. And now this thing is going to spawn ridiculously. I got to watch it when I go down underneath there. It is going to push out a bunch of mobs, and I'm going to be generating LP much more rapidly. Now, what we need to do, now that we're generating a little bit of passive LP, we need to start changing these basic runes out to the runes of sacrifice. So that's something that's going to be pretty easy to do. I want to make sure that this is nice and dark. So I'm going to add a little bit of I'll let this spider actually die. I'm going to change out a little bit. Oh, he's not going to die because he's not close enough anymore. There we go. I'm going to add cobblestone underneath here so that I can block all of this off. And now once we have all this is done, it'll be totally sealed off. Now I can always just dig back underneath. I don't need an elevator setup or anything. It's going to be pretty straightforward. If I ever need to, I'm going to dig on the side anyway and build a proper entrance with some glass and stuff. But for now, all we need is the LP from this, and we should be good. So I'm very happy with this setup. Stupid little spider. As soon as we get this all taken care of, oh, come on, spider. As soon as we get this all taken care of, we'll be able to proceed to making this thing tier 5, which is going to be a big improvement in the functionality of what we can do. So let's take the builder's wand. We should have enough cobblestone and bring it up by one more. There we go. XP was telling me you can hold shift for some added functionality on the wand. I never knew that before. It's quite a good tip. Okay. And now I'll take the little bit of cobblestone that I have left, and we'll put it here, 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 and here. And now we should be totally good. Let's see, we're still gaining LP at a pretty good rate. So after watching it a little bit further, it is significantly draining my LP. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not charging it right now. I'm using my altar to put some slates together, but it was draining my LP a little bit faster than the cursed earth can put it. Now, there's only a couple things that I can do with this. Add more spawners to the mix, or put some runes of sacrifice, and that's another thing that I want to do, because runes of sacrifice really make this thing more efficient. One day I'll be able to actually stop doing this altogether, and the runes of sacrifice, along with the mob spawning, will totally replenish my LP faster than I can take it, and that's what that's the hope anyway. So if I look at my altar right here, it's 9730. I currently have 64 stone in here, waiting for them to turn to the second level slates. And if you look at this rune of sacrifice, it takes 2 slates, 2 gold, and some stone along with the orb. So we can put the orb in the center and actually take these out. I only have a little bit of gold right now, but that's no problem. I can probably go get some more relatively easy. There's plenty in the quarry world. So I'm gonna go do a little bit of mining, let this stuff process, and get some runes of sacrifice so we can see the type of difference that it makes. Alright guys, so I've been experimenting a little bit, and I've added some speed runes and some sacrifice runes, and the good news is the altar is performing a lot better. The bad news is, I kind of died. As you can see, my armor. I lost a couple pieces of armor. My gravestone broke down here, and basically what happened is there was a little bit of light that was coming in, and it was kind of lighting the cursed earth on fire. So I was going to, the failsafe didn't work because some of the pieces that were at the start of the drawbridge actually kind of took it away. And instead of being patient and just using my extra cursed earth or going down there when all the mobs were gone, I ended up going down there early, and it blasted the altar with a creeper blast, and then to make a long story short, my gravestone ended up down there. And when I went back, even though it was cleaned up, I accidentally broke the gravestone before taking down the chest, and the chest voided some of my items, including a couple of my pieces of armor. So kinda sucks. But I mean, you get over stuff. I'd rather share it with you guys than act like nothing ever happened. But at any rate, I'm gonna have to get some more cursed earth, and I'm gonna have to get my bound armor back online. But that's all the time we have for this episode today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Next time we come back, we'll probably get some Thaumcraft online and start with the stuff inside the guild. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time. Bye.